So recently, there's been a bit of a trend with these iceberg images to raise awareness for the polar ice caps melting. To actually get people interested in the degradation of the Earth, people on the internet decided to make looking at an iceberg more of a learning experience by tying them to particular interests, like Super Mario 64. These videos going over these images are everywhere on the YouTube, but nobody talking about the Megaten one, so what the fuck? This iceberg is full of interesting lore and conspiracies regarding the Super Mario Tensei series. Now typically, with these types of videos, people like to use little thingies to indicate how much they know about a particular subject, but we don't need to do that, cause we're not fucking pussies. And I know literally everything about Megaten. To show you we're not fucking around, let's start off with the tip of my cockberg. Persona 1 and 2 exist. Yeah, recently, ever since 2010, it seems as if Atlus, creators of Persona, have been trying to erase anything from their past that isn't strictly Persona. This actually includes Personas 1 and 2, which might, as you think, aren't actually Personas, due to them not having any anime. None whatsoever. It's only in the name that they are Persona games, but everything else has no connections to the actual series, like the homophobic jokes, for instance. So at one point Atlus decided to try hiding the games from the public eye for as long as they could, to no avail, to them re-releasing the games around 2010. In the SMT and Persona series, there's a lot of spooky shit, dude! Like, so many demons! Like Lucifer and Satan, who are commonly mistaken for being one and the same, but SMT being SMT to be 100% historically accurate, so the people at Atlus dug into the internet archive and eventually determined that Satan and Lucifer are not the same person. The game Persona 4, originally released for the PS is a game about people getting killed and a person killing all those people and other people who aren't dead, trying to figure out who killed all those people that are dead. The game is a murder mystery, and people are still to this day trying to figure out who the killer was. But after a lot of data mining, Persona 4's villain has been determined to be Adachi. Sadly, no one has actually played Persona 4, because it's good. Wait. Looks like P. Looks like fucking P. Why would anyone want to play this? It looks like P. No one likes P. It sounds like fucking dog shit. No one actually played it. In Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor for the Nintendo DS, you play as a blue-haired anime boy with cat ears, who is the reincarnation of Abel from the story of Abel and Cain in the Bible, who were suspected to look something like this. In the game, your protagonist has a brother/cousin named Nayuya, who is suspected to be the Cain of your protagonist. This is further supported by this image that was found in the game's files. Atlus, once again showing how much they rightfully hate white people, decided to wait until the Virtual Boy, knowing how little white boys would actually buy it, to release a game in the West. However, this ended up backfiring because they actually made the game good, despite all the vomit produced during the gameplay. In Persona 5, there are heavily implied implications of a gay relationship between the characters Ren and Akechi. This is rarely brought to a head when Ren calls him honey, making them meaning that they probably fucked or something. I don't know, I didn't actually play the game as it turns out. In the SMT series, neutral is one of the 3 common alignments you can take in the series. It represents how humans choose neither gods or demons to create their society, but rather themselves. Neutral typically involves having to take care of both law and chaos. The other 2 alignments in SMT Neutral losers are seen as indecisive dum-dums who can't pick a side. So as it turns out, Persona was actually only a small portion of a much larger series called Shin Megami Tensei. In Shin Megami Tensei 4 for the Nintendo 3DS, an entire civilization lives on top of Tokyo, called the Eastern Kingdom of Megaten. According to the lore of SMT4 and 4 Apocalypse, it was built after Masakado surrounded the entirety of Tokyo in powerful stone in an attempt to protect its citizens. Sometime later, a civilization began to form above the city, which was started by Akira of Tokyo. The game's just bad. Enough said. Fuck Persona 3. Seriously, what were they thinking? In Persona 3 Portable, the female protagonist has a striking resemblance to a character from the Devil Summoner series, called Rei. This leads me to believe that she is a descendant of the before-mentioned Rei, making the Devil Summoner games canon to Persona. "2020 has had lockdowns throughout the entire world, including Tokyo. While the government wants us to believe that the reason for this is to prevent the coronavirus from spreading, the truth remains that they were actually a cover-up for a real-life demon invasion. A brave journalist was able to take a picture of the demons before being silenced by the United Nations. Atlus predicted this in their DS game Devil Survivor, where a similar situation can be seen. In the game Devil Summoner Soul Hakas, it is proven that VR technology can be used for much more sinister things than entertainment, namely soul stealing. This is why the government should have cracked down more on apps that steal your data, cause it leads to shit like this. What the actual fuck, man? This is horrible! The monk Rasputin, sometimes referred to as Russia's greatest love machine, was shot, poisoned, and stabbed several times. Yet, he survived all of it. After his alleged death, his body was never recovered. This doesn't make sense. So the only logical conclusion is that he was actually an android, equipped with time travel technology, sent to the past to gather information and alter history to prevent a much greater evil. The character, Gale, from Digital Devil Saga, was originally not supposed to be a part of the story. It was a late addition by writer Satomi Tadashi, meant to add more diversity to the cast. After proposing this, the team replied with, "I do not comprehend." This also spawned Gale's famous catchphrase. Devil Survivor 2's character Ronaldo is heavily against fascism and holds an extremist communistic view of a perfect society. This inspired the real-life group Antifa. Despite the government doing their best to keep this out of the public's knowledge, evidence of their actions can be seen all over the world. While the government is trying to prevent us from knowing about the existence of demons, they are simultaneously preventing us from finding out about aliens, as they are using the demons to fend off the extraterrestrial invaders. Now, you gotta fill the diversity quota, bro. That was the mindset that Atlas had when they decided to change Mark's race in the USA version of Persona 1. In Megami Ibanroku's localization, there are several instances in which we can see that Kei Nanjo's character is racist due to his interactions with the character Masao Inaba, who, as previously mentioned, had his race changed from Asian to a real one. As I've already spoken about, when Atlus brought over Persona 1 into the West, they decided to change and remove a lot of parts in the game, such as the character Marx's race. Believe it or not, the computers over at Atlus thought that this change in design was better for the setting, themes, story, and character. A lot of SMT games tend to reuse story structures, scenarios, character roles, concepts, and more. So Tadashi pulled a Powerpuff Girls 2016 and wrote himself in, dating a minor. Was it an inside joke? Probably not, because he got fired, and he deserved all of it. Now you gotta face it straight, they both look alike. And their faces are both white, so you know it's true. We can confirm that this fact is true.
Victory.
In the game, Demi Kits for Nintendo Game Boy Cube, Color, Dark version, there is an exclusive demon that's a baby version of Jack Frost. This implies that Jack Frost fucks. In the original Megami Tensei, a major plot point was that the main character Nakajima was bullied by his peers, and in retaliation builds a demon summoning program. But this ends up backfiring and he dies, and there is no game. In SMT If... the main villain is basically Nakajima, but cringe, and you have to punch him for being a cringe-ass faggot with the help of someone. Also in SMT If... the ending you get depends on the character you pick, which there are many. Because of this, people have been talking for years on what route is the true canon route, and has been determined that since he is the sexiest, Akira is the true one. According to the cutting room floor in SMT1, there are cut demon designs that are very similar to Donald fucking Duck and Mickey T. Mouse. And because Walt Disney was heavily involved in the SMT series, he put them in there. But after seeing Disneyland being called Destinyland, he died of a heart attack, and the devs at Atlus removed the two demons before the game came out. People who are bullied for looking or being gay will eventually summon demons. This seems to be a very common occurrence throughout the Megami Tensei series, starting with the original protagonist, Nakajima. If you reset SMT1, you die! Because of the localization and revelations persona, Atlus West decided to add some social commentary into the game by having Mark subjected to police brutality. The World of Sloth is a dungeon in SMT If... based on the deadly sin of the same name, and infamously is regarded as the worst dungeon in the game because of how accurately it represents the sin it's taking after, and it's not fun. A meta decision by Atlus decided to use their own sloth to their advantage and create this dungeon. The third Jack brother, and often seen alongside Jack Frost and Pyro Jack. As Jack Ripper is a reincarnation of the notorious Jack the Ripper, it is obvious that the original human, Jack the Ripper, had blood relations to the original fairy, Jack Frost. The notorious dictator Adolf Hitler was in all actuality a devil summoner of the Kuzunoa clan. He was often seen wearing black attire reminiscent of that a Kuzunoa would wear. For the longest time, regular humans were also not able to see demons. The only way Hitler was able to survive all 7 attempts on his life and take over the German government was by summoning an Al-Rauni and casting Mara and Karen on the entire country, which is something only a Kuzunoa would have been able to do. The move in Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne is based on and named after something from the German opera, The Freischütz. In it, the character Max has to pass a test of his skill as a marksman to marry his beloved. Max is talked into forging the Freikugel by his friend Kaspar, who was in a deal with the devil. The Freikugeln were infused by magic from the devil, which meant that 6 of the 7 bullets would always hit their mark. However, the 7th bullet was controlled by the devil himself. It is heavily implied that Hijiri is a reincarnation of Aleph, who is cursed to never be able to die for committing the ultimate sin, killing God. Steve Jobs is the devil! Despite fan outcry, the music in Shin Megami Tensei HD Remaster for SMT Nocturne remained compressed. This is because it was a design decision from the beginning. It was meant to make the player feel uncomfortable in a foreign world they don't really understand. Before forging alliances with Dagda, Nanashi worked as a hunter. A hunter's only goal in life is to gain as much profit as possible, making him a Jew. There is no evidence to prove it ever happened, as Lucifer forged all of it. Kaneko once said in an interview, "If we were to follow the theory that the Japanese imperial family is part of the Hebrew lineage, then Masakado would also become the one who opposed the Jews. The imperfect hero, so to speak. It would be cool if that kind of man existed." Kazuma Kaneko, series artist and creative director. The Demi-Fiend boss fight in Digital Devil Saga proves that the game was simply a fever dream by the DDS cast. The game calls her a she. Jesus, Mohammed, Adam, Aleph, Demi-Fiend, Flynn, Nanashi, and Vikun all look like sissy girls. This means that all messiahs have always and will always be twinks. Dojima was the real killer all along. However, Adachi is trying to cover up for him.
Fucking punch you in the gut.
As opposed to law and neutral, the Chaos Alignment believes in true freedom, a land where the strongest will thrive and the weak will be purged. It is scientifically impossible for even a single person to survive in an eternal solar eclipse. That also turns people into stone? It is actually a second simulation, training the cast to deal with the actual disaster in a fast manner, as to not die. So basically Atlas East was like, "Dang, that looks good!" to Atlas West when they saw Revelation's persona and made Black Mark canon. Sharon deals with a lot of dead people, and dead people aren't easy to deal with. So as a form of leisure, he recreationally uses the maka he gets from the dead to spend on drugs. To get high. Even in the E-rated Demi-Kids, he does this. Which is fucked up, man. What the hell were they thinking? The accessoires and clothing they wear bear the traits of animals. In particular, a cat and a rabbit, which are animals last time I checked. Typically, people that wear clothing with animal-esque features are considered furries. So it is suspected that the Devil Survivor protagonists are furries. Why they do it is unknown, even to yesterday. So we decided to interview the Demi-Fiend for this video, and here's what he has to say on this. They're fat, ugly, stupid, and everywhere, just like white women, who also like to take money, which pretas do a lot. I mean, wouldn't you if you could? In Megami Tensei 2, there is a minigame called Devil Busters, which is a VR recreation of the events of the first game. The only other video game series in which video games that are also VR exist is the Dot Hack franchise, meaning that Devil Busters is canon to the Dot Hack universe. So some asshole fooled me while I was looking into SMT5 a few months ago with a fake leaked OST. So this part of the iceberg is wrong because fuck that person for tricking me. Fake ass asshole, you stupid fucking bastard, die in a fucking fire, whore. I actually haven't played 9, so probably. And you can't say I'm wrong because anyone watching this video has not played 9, because 9 isn't actually a real game, you fucking So basically, while I was researching this part for the video, Kaneko came into my fucking house and took all of the info I found on this part. So I'm just gonna play a clip of what Kaneko did while I was working. Some who've played SMT4 Apocalypse have claimed to have seen a green, ghostly version of Navarre, which I can't say I've seen, and that makes me sad. I think that if I saw Navarre in Apocalypse, he'd probably be the best character in the game. Yeah, no, I'd even have sex with him. Yeah, I wanna fuck a Navarre. Listen. Do this guy. As soon as you see him, you know he's a part of something bigger than you. I mean, the dude acts like he's crippled and can still kick your ass sitting down. I don't know, he's definitely a part of the deep state if you ask me. You might be SMHing your head here. The plot of SMT4 never happened. It's just a game. Nor has anything resembling it ever happened. Well, you dumb fucking retard. That's because it hasn't happened yet. It's going to soon. My friend told me it is. So, you know it's true. I would trust him with my life. So you can't research it actually because we don't have it. So you'd just be wasting your time if you did. Boy, I sure hope whoever put this part on the iceberg got fired for that blunder. The Devil Summoning program has been seen used on Linux, Android, and iOS-based systems, making it very likely it can run on Nintendo OS as well. The reason news on the game was so infrequent was due to Atlas still needing to finish developing the program. Gaston is based on the Disney character of the same name, who was gay and fucked his best friend in the ass. SMT4 Gaston's best friend was Adachi from Persona 4, as they both have a 4 in the title. meaning they had some extreme hardcore anal sex. Much like any good ruler, Yahweh follows the principle of do what I say, not what I do. He constantly switches his alignment and changes his opinion. He also isn't able to control his emotions, meaning he has two personalities. One is a cool, calm, and collected soldier, and the other is a 10-year-old boy. Somewhere on the internet exists a piece of hentai about SMT4's AI assistant. I know it's true, I've seen it! It just works, says Todd Howard, lead developer on Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. I don't want to get into the details, so let's just say Jack Frost is a white woman. YHVH exists, however, he also possesses a lot of the traits attributed to Allah and God, making every religion accurate. The comp is iOS based because every comp in the series is actually an iPhone 4, so it has to be iOS based. The shopkeep has a very well-known history as a sex slave dealer. I would not trust him. We used the Japanese-Jewish common ancestry theory as the base, says John Cena, Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse scenario writer. This means that Jews and Japanese people are one and the same. Nanako was the real killer all along. Dojima was simply trying to cover up for her. He was heavily involved in the localization process and demanded the changes to be made, as he didn't believe the Japanese public would appreciate his work as much as the Americans. He uses his job at the detective agency to spread conspiracy theories to the people he questions, turning them into maniac liberals! These were images found in the game files for the original digital devil story, Megami Tensei. While neutrals believe in centrism, chaos believe in freedom, law only believe in Allah, the Almighty. He doesn't have any social media, and hasn't put out any art in a while. This leads me to believe that he has most likely been assassinated. There's this one scene in The My Kids where these two Anamice guys use a Bible, and they summon a demon. That's not cool, God. Never get a kid the tools to summon a demon in such a public and accessible way, such as the Holy Bible, written by you yourself. Hanako once redrew an encounter he had with a real-life Mothman, where he ate his brain. Mothman at the time of action had a lot to drink, and thought he was a zombie or something. I really don't know. I can't read Japanese. Merkaba does have them boobs though. I'm not gonna stand around and pretend this isn't hot. I am incredibly fucking horny. The dude wears a yarmulke. Case closed. Let's have lunch. I have no interest in talking about Jews. Okay, maybe I lied. Dude, the 90s were so much better. You could get away with so much shit back then. Like, nowadays, everyone is too fucking baby to make a joke. So what if I stopped watching TV and haven't seen any new shows to back up that claim? Things suck now. Soul Hackers made a Jew joke. Here, have a look at it. I don't care anymore. It's like one of the many gates on Twitter, but with Alice from SMT, I think. I'm actually not that sure. I need someone to back me up here. Okay, so basically, 2020 is pretty much a strange journey, because of a bunch of weird shit is happening. Oh my fucking god! Oh my god, this is like Strange Journey of... In the Islamic religion, Allah is referred to as the one, true, only God, who is above all else. Because of this, many people have drawn comparisons between him and YHVH of SMT, claiming that Allah is his alter ego, alternative account, or maybe even it is the other way around. I don't know. A common theory surrounds Minecraft is that the game's setting is the world after an apocalypse happens, as you, the player in Minecraft, are the only human. Granted, you don't play with any other, like, dipshits online. I mean, sexy-ass motherfuckers who wrote this part of the iceberg. Thanks a bunch. If the apocalypse theory of Minecraft holds grounds, then that means there are a ton of strange similarities between Minecraft and the Vortex world in Nocturne. Imagine Nocturne with crafting elements. Yo, that'd be fucking insane. Whoa. I don't know, dudes. The guy's into weird shit, man. I ain't gonna judge. I mean, he did create humanity and hermaphroditism and all, and weird demons and shit. So who's to say he isn't into that shit? I'm sure he is. Basically, the Chaos Hero Vario in SMT1 gets his shit kicked in by a bitch-ass punk and wants to become stronger. Basically, a Shuninini anime programmist. In the old Disney cartoon, Dave the Barbarian, there's an episode where a time traveler goes back in time to give people video games. This raises the hypothetical question of whether or not the things we have today were potentially brought back in time to an older period of humanity and introduced to them, such as SMT. Perhaps a lot of the ideas of the Bible were stolen without giving credit to Atlus. The Bible is copyright of the Atlas Company! In the unreleased Shin Megami Tensei 9 expansion pack titled SMT 9 plus 10, there was a released dungeon that was pretty much a fuck you to fans of SMT, with it being a dungeon full of all of this shit. And I hate it. I mean, I haven't played SMT 9 plus 10, but it's sure as hell not living in mind right now. So there are many angels in SMT. Any of these can have a dick. We don't fucking know. I sure don't. Because if I look at any form of genitalia, I instantly die of looking at genitalia. I can't die yet. I still have games to play. Stefan gave him a comp, or something. One of his demons casted Rekarm on the third day or something. I don't know, I haven't read the Bible actually. Okay, so basically there's this game called Digital Doodoo Saga where it takes a lot of inspiration from the many parts of Hinduism. Like its characters, settings, plot, choice and demons, plot. Like lots of shit, dude. So basically, because the characters work to get to Nirvana, also known as Swagland, it is basically Shonen Persona. Basically, he's Raido cause he his control over the demons, spirits, and animals augmented his lender. The demons bringing him precious stones, besides water from distant countries to irrigate his it. So basically a Kuzunoa of King Solomon. Honestly, I don't know how the fuck the person who made this got the image of Masima from Rond. I know it's Ron, but I still couldn't find shit on the game. I don't think anyone has actually ever owned or played Ron, let alone ever seen this render of Masima, so... Yo, this is like a new discovery or some shit. there exists a more accurate rendition of the Bible, based on the events of Shin Megami Tensei 2. This elusive book is sometimes referred to as the SMT2 Compendium. Atlas as a company doesn't actually exist. They're a secret military branch of the Illuminati meant to brainwash our young through anti-Semitic video games. Yeah, SMT sucks. Persona's objectively better. No debate there. Both of these seemingly immortal artists are actually vampires. But in order to hide the truth, Kaneko was killed and eaten by a Rocky. Pay your taxes if you don't want to fucking die. When everything else is lost, only Masima can save you with the love of God. I don't know. I'm too young to watch Simpsons. I've never seen the show. I don't know. In the mobile game crossover DX2, both the Devil May Cry cast and the Berserk cast make an appearance as recruitable demons. Since we know that DMC is canon to Nocturne, and Nocturne is canon to DX2, that means that Berserk is canon to DMC. Unlike most Saturn games, Ronde was fully 3D, whereas most inferior games at the time opted for sprites. It is still one of the best looking games on the system, far beyond Daytona USA and Fighters Megamix. Holy fuck, my daughter eyes so hot, I want to fuck senseless. Oh my god, please suck my dick. The objectively best alignment, allowing the world and all of humanity to peacefully move on from the torment of life and become one with the cosmos. We also know it as the Milky Way. An ugly boy finds a pretty girl and falls in love with her, but then he fucking dies and is revived by some Irish dude. All of this with the assistance of his pet goblin. They are pretty much the same story. In Persona 2, Tamaki dresses up as a cat girl. This heavily implies that she is a fairy, making furries canon to reality. And Tadashi knows. In the most recent trailer for Shin Megami Tensei 5, we can see that the protagonist has a haircut that closely resembles that of Shin Megami Tensei 4's protagonist, Flynn, as well as that game's heroine, Isaboe. The way the two haircuts are combined leads me to believe that they are meant to symbolize a conception for sexual assault. Yes, indeed, Flynn raped Isaboe. Goku never loses. Of course he would beat Schwarzfeld. Have you ever seen Goku lose? Yeah, didn't think so. Alice is seemingly the only demon to not have a clear origin, making it very clear to me that she is in reality a demonified reincarnation of Annie Frank. Much like any good program, all the source code can be found on github.net. As it turns out, you should not attempt to use it, unless you wish eternal damnation on your soul.